Dun, dun, dun. Okay, welcome to Song Night number 34. We're still going to be doing song nights apparently forever and ever, but as you can see from the title of this video, and I'll be probably making another video about this week, my channel's changing. I'm still going to be doing Logic videos. I'm still probably going to be using Logic at some way or another. But I'm going to spend the summer exploring all the other digital audio workstations that I haven't used in a minute, and seeing if perhaps one of those places is a better fit for me these days. So we're going to do some sad music tonight in Logic as a way to end this part of the series. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm just tired of these updates that come without any real notification and without the company really listening to what users are doing. I listen to other workstation teams, and when users are upset about something, the people from the team get online and say, here's what we're going to do, and what can we do to make it better, and how can we listen to what's happening. And we don't ever really get that with this software, at least not in a very long time. And so it's like there's just people on the other side of a screen working and releasing things, and it's clear that some people there do care, but the system they're working in is restrictive to how much they can actually talk about it or work with the community at large. And then we end up with things like the chord track and the session players, which are a half-baked idea at best. I love the idea of what they could do, and yet I've done nothing but think about workarounds for how to make them work how I want to since Logic 11 came out. So I'm not quitting Logic. That's a question from Rob in the comments. But I am taking the summer, and I'm going to be using other workstations a ton and making videos. I'll probably still make videos about Logic, comparing it. And anytime there's a Logic update, I'm going to make videos about it because Logic is still one of the big players. But I'm seriously thinking it's time to look around. We're going to be looking at Reason and Studio One and Reaper and Pro Tools and probably Cubase, FL Studio. It's like I know Ableton well enough that I know that it's not exactly what I'm looking for my own self. I've done like other training on Ableton in the past. Ableton's great. And it's really good at what it does, but I don't think the same way that Ableton does. So I don't know if I'll do that one this summer. But it's sad. I think that there's some actually really cool things in this new update, but there's also just some weird crap, like the studio piano, how the pedal noise is set to 60% as a default. It's like, we don't need... That's just to make sure people heard it. That's not what we actually need in any shape or form. In a studio, we're always trying to minimize the pedal noise. The piano sounds... Ugh, can't even play tonight. Trevone is saying, can I repeat what I'm not liking? I'm not liking the way that Apple is handling its community of users. That's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more communication. It's like I get so insanely frustrated when things don't work that well, and I look around, for instance, these are maybe not the best examples, but Reason is about to have a new update. So I guess it's kind of like a comparative thing. But you can go on like the YouTube channel, and the guys who make Reason are like making videos and talking to people all the time. Like Reason or hate Reason, it doesn't matter. It's like the team building it is actually like trying to engage with people. And I feel like we're always beta testing new features in Logic. They could have done so much more with this chord track, and people will say, well, they're going to add to it. They're going to add to it. Why release something that's half done? It's like half there. It's not fully functional. You can't even play. I mean, it doesn't even control any other MIDI except for the session players. And I can't play in MIDI and have it control them very easily. It's like we're working. It's like everyone who says, well, you can do it this way, and it's a workaround. And I'm thinking, that's the problem right there. That's the whole problem, is that it's a series of workarounds to make these things work. I'm not leaving Logic. I'm just taking a summer and exploring other workstations. There's some things that I still will do in Logic, for sure. But even some of the spatial audio stuff that I do in my research at the university is going to be easier now in other applications. It's always been a little bit easier in Reaper. Studio One now has all of the Apple renderer and Dolby Atmos if you're doing spatial audio on a Mac. I mean, there's other applications that are doing stuff, and so the thing that has been holding me to Apple for a long time is my comfort with it. You know what I mean? It's like I can do things with Logic so fast because I know it that well. So I've got a summer. I'm going to take some time and see if I can get the competency up with some of these other workstations. And once I actually get to that level, then I can actually say, you know what? Some things here are better, or I miss Logic insanely and I want to go back. That's the thing we're going to be doing with that. I'm also tired, and this is coming from the comments a little bit. Charles, for instance, holding up in the upgrades, which will push all the old Mac users. I hate the fact that we make that part of the conversation. It's like, why can't Logic be updated for Logic's sake? Why can't they make Logic better? Instead of us feeling like they're just pushing us to get a new computer. That's the part like that's like a dark twist on it, right? There are companies that make music production software that actually care about their users and make the music production software for the sake of making the music production software better. Not all of them. I mean, Pro Tools is not an example of a company that seems to have really cared about its end users. There's a new head of Avid now. Maybe they're going to be different. We'll see. Studio One, for a long time, I felt like they actually were interested in that, but now, they got merged. And so we're seeing, people over there not always happy about what they're doing. FL Studio, Cubase, you name it. There's somebody who has something. And so I just want to, instead of at this moment saying this software is the only one I'll ever use because I can work it really well, right? I know how to use it. The truth is, at the university, I'm in like a unique position in some ways. I've been teaching now for over 20 years, university level, and I've taught all of the workstations. Some of them I haven't used as much of late. I still use Pro Tools on a weekly basis because that's what we have in our studios on campus. And we got great Pro Tools rigs. They're pretty dialed in. We have an S6 console controller. And so it's like we have a lot of that stuff. I know Pro Tools pretty well. It's not the one that's ever spoken to me as a creator. I'm going to use it this summer some, and because they have a bunch of new MIDI effects, and they've added a lot of stuff that Logic has over the years. And so I feel like they're all getting closer to each other, but maybe this is the right time to go to a company that's innovating and caring about their customers more than just trying to get us to upgrade by adding features that only work on certain processors and stuff. Eek. This is supposed to be a songwriting night, but it's kind of a song ranting night. By the way, I don't hate everything about Logic. I love Logic. I'm definitely a fan. I've been using it now for a long time. The new piano sound. The instruments themselves. I'd love to have like a real piano master listen and tell me what could be better. Yeah, I mean, it's nice with like this hammer style action keyboard I'm playing. It feels, there's something about a bad piano sample that when you play it with a nice controller, that it still feels wrong because the sound is wrong. But you add in the right sound and a good controller can sound like an amazing controller. Sounds so good. And maybe at the end of all of that, I'll be like, you know what? Still nothing feels like home like Logic, and I'll just come back to it. And I think I'll be a better Logic user because of that at the same time. And I think a whole bunch of people will, I mean, anybody who wants to be the best at Logic, it doesn't hurt to learn what other workstations do. So I think that some of these, the videos that I'm going to be making, I'll be making videos about the process, showing what I learned. The one perk of having a platform is that you can reach out to companies and say, hey, can you share your stuff with me? I want to like make some videos about it. And, 5 or 6 times out of 10, they're really responsive and send you stuff. So I'm hoping to do that, but if not, I'll pay for them as well. Most of them I can get at least a subscription for a month for $20. That's the one. People always are complaining about subscription stuff. But it's actually nice if you want to mess around with something, right? It's like a $20 demo. That I can live with. And I'm still going to be making videos that deal with Logic too, because it's still the thing I know best is of the moment, besides Pro Tools. And so we'll definitely be doing a little bit of that as well. Let's actually do a little bit of a song for a few minutes. Do a nice intro. I do like the arranger track in here. I know there's some other software that has arranger tracks, so this isn't the only one, but I wish we had gotten more functionality with this, with the new thing, with the new session players, but that's okay. We'll just add some drums for a minute. I'm not going to do chord track. Let's just do something real low key tonight. It's not clickbaity. I'm serious. I mean, you're going to see on this channel a bunch of videos about different software things. I'm going to spend a time away from Logic. I don't think it's that clickbaity, because if I get to the point where it's like one of the other ones feels like a better fit and actually has the features I want, I'm not going to come back and do that, but you can hear defensiveness. I'm serious. I think Logic or Apple's been really crappy with us with Logic. I think they've been giving us crappy updates and features that are half baked and wanting us to update and use things that are not completed. I mean, the iPad version of Logic is the perfect example of something that is like half thought through. Go into any of the instruments. The best part about Logic, in my opinion, are the instruments. And if you go in there and try to use any of them, like the synthesizers, it's like the knob interfaces and the mile-long page of every slider and knob looking exactly the same is impossible to use. So I don't know. I think as much as it feels like clickbait, it's not at the same time. I'm dead serious that there's going to be like this. You're going to see some new. I even changed. I don't know if you noticed. If you look at my channel name, it's not Logic Pro X Live. I had to change it anyway because it's not Logic Pro X anymore. But I changed the whole name, and we're going to be exploring a lot of other things with it. And some people are going to like that, and some people are going to hate it. And I think I'm going to have a lot of fun messing around with other stuff. So it's time. I think it's time that people say, you know what, we're not happy with how Logic is being handled all the time. And I don't have an investment. I mean, Apple I'm not part of their beta team. I don't ever get anything from them. Everything I've ever done for Logic is just because I'm passionate about audio production, and Logic has always like spoken my language in a certain way. But if you think about it, the things I've always liked most about Logic, the itch that it scratched, was partly academic and nerd alert, right? And now it's like they're hiding the environment. It's like they're embarrassed about the environment and want to make it so that you can't even find it easily. I mean, it's like, that was the best, like, go in on the environment and go in on some of the advanced features. That's what some of us really wanted from this, because it was there, and then they're slowly trying to simplify it and take it away. Now we have the Logic version on the iPad, and that is pretty much, first of all, hard to use, but second of all, it's like de-nerdified completely. So I think that's how I'm feeling about it. I'm still doing a song night though. So let's do, I just lost my audio for a second. Check, do I still, oh yeah, I still got it. Okay, cool. Okay. I lost my headphones is what I lost. Cool. Okay. Oh, I see what happened. Cool. And there's some comments about Reason's sequencer being ancient, which is true. They're actually updating it supposedly in this new update, but they're not updating it in that many ways. But so's the Logic sequencer, just FYI. Think about all that it's done, or that they've changed in the past like 5 years or whatever. It hasn't changed very much at all. Yeah. So the new instruments are, I mean, I like them, but they're okay. No, not gonna work. Oof, wrong note. Let's just change it in there. If this was truly AI, it would have been able to fix that note for me. Liked the little box that had the complexity intensity in it. They just changed this for the Logic on the iPad version as far as I could tell. It's like, why did we need to change some of the things that were working? But and why is the stereo pan not the default? And why do we have plugins that look like this still? I just used Chroma Glow, which raise your hand if you're on Intel Mac and can't use that plugin. It's going to break every... I mean, you would have probably been like rich and famous had you been able to use that plugin. I'm just kidding. But seriously, geez. Actually, Chroma Glow's fine, but it wasn't something that was like missing from my toolkit, once again. Oh, that's fine. Let's just repeat that. What was that though? Did I miss? let's record that. Oof, I need to... It's like the groove track is fine, but I don't think it's going to work for that piano part. Let's do the smart quantize. Let's do that a little tighter. Boom. Let's figure out if I did. I'm loving the comments in this the stream so far. So I'm not just going to use Reason Rack in Logic this summer either. I'm going to use the actual full Reason, just FYI, in case you were thinking, again, clickbaity of some sort. But I do use the rack sometimes. But we're going to use the actual Reason. I almost recorded straight into things. Some things that they've changed with the MIDI record arm are going to take some time to get used to. But not everything has been like a step up. It doesn't all work right. So again, some people are asking, I'm going to start with Reason as my next one, mostly because they have an update coming up in a couple weeks. And I thought that was the good time to jump back in. Maybe a little history just for a second. My first workstation, my first platform of recording was tape, analog, and then MIDI disc. But then my first workstation was a version of eMagic's Logic. They had their code that they were like selling out to people. I've got the discs someplace around actually. But it was a PC only. It was like an early version of alternate universe Logic. So that was my very first one. And then Pro Tools, and I got a version of Reason. It was like version 2. And like my brother at the time, like sent me some discs with like a cracked version of it. And then my first job I got, I actually saved up the money and bought a version of Reason. And then got into Nuendo and Cubase quite heavily for a while. And Pro Tools. Pro Tools was always there because it's like the studio standard. And so I've used Pro Tools since like version 4 all the way up until now. And so then Apple had bought Logic, and I started like somebody was using it. This was 20 years ago now. And so I got my first teaching gig, and we used Pro Tools and Nuendo. And then I moved to Colorado and bought Logic, which at the time was like over $1,000. And it's like everyone complains about subscription stuff, and I'm just like, who cares about subscription stuff? Thank goodness it doesn't cost $1,000 every time you buy it. Nobody would be using it if that were the case. And so maybe it would have been better if a select group of people paid $1,000 to use it. Maybe we would be able to have more of the features we wanted instead of making it a $4 app on an iPad. So Reason, I'm going to be using, Studio One. I was there at the very beginning of Studio One. I knew one of the guys who was like the product manager for Studio One lived just up the road in Colorado. And he would come like guest lecture in my classes. And version 2 of Studio One released with this thing called the Vintage Keys. It was one of their sound banks. And that was me in like one of my classes at the university. We sampled and edited all of our vintage synthesizers we have on campus, and they were bundled with Studio One version 2. And they were there till till version 4 or 5, and then they replaced that instrument with like a different type of sampling. And so those ones weren't compatible anymore. And so they became like they were there just from version 2 to version 4 or 5. But if you were on the website and you would look and you'd go through all the different instruments that came with Studio One, you'd see my name and the University of Colorado, Denver. Like we built that instrument. So it's like Studio One I have a history with. I want to do some stuff with Bitwig maybe, although that's very similar in some ways to a mentality that's like Ableton. It's so flexible and powerful. But I was a beta tester for Bitwig when it was first released. And I was a beta tester for Studio One when it was first released as well. So it's like I have all this history with all these workstations, and they've all kind of grown up while I've stopped using them. And now it's time, I think, to like see which of them has the potential to like feel like a landing pad so much. And it's nice that it's like I'm looking at all your comments. You've had a lot of comments tonight, and a lot of you are feeling like similar things in some ways. And I think we need more people who are out there like saying, hey, you know what? You may be thinking like Logic's your thing, but here's some alternatives. The other nice thing about looking at alternatives from Logic, of course, Studio One, Reason, Pro Tools, Cubase, FL. I'll do stuff with FL Studio. That was another one of the like 18 years ago, or let me think, how many years ago was it really? 17 years ago. 2000s. Yeah. Dang. I did like this training course for an online company. It was like an early version of YouTube in many ways. Like 10 hours of training on FL Studio. That was the first thing I ever did for that company. And I did like 2 or 3 updates to it over the years. There's always been things that have kept me in Logic. The drummer track, when it came out, has always kept me in Logic. I love the drummer track. I've made videos about this. You can go back and see them. It's like I really actually wanted to figure out how to use it. It brought something into my toolkit that I didn't have. It integrated really tightly into Logic in a way that other tools didn't. And then in Grand Apple fashion, they haven't updated any of the drummers, or, I mean, they updated the mixing on them, but they didn't really add a ton of new functionality inside the new session players with the drummer. It feels stagnant, right? It feels stagnant, and it feels like Apple is stagnant in a lot of places. It's like everyone's talking about the new iOS, 18 or whatever coming out that they're going to announce next week and then do the beta and then release this September. It's like it's the same churning over and over and over of stuff. And other companies are more agile, they're more attentive, they're more responsive, and they're actually getting it when it comes to some of these things. Eesh. I'm tired of it, them telling us that it's all brand new and it's just the same thing rewrapped. It's like I tell my students, you can't polish a turd, you just get crap all over your hands. And it feels sometimes like we're just being repackaged stuff all the time. Okay, we're songwriting, I know. Song night, that's not why you're here, but that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here tonight. Let's actually do, just to tie that in, the 777, which that 777 is 20 years old. That one patch, it's my favorite patch in all of Reason, always has been. My mouse. I use the rack almost exclusively. I've tried to sample it, but it's never quite the same. It's perfect. I mean, that patch is so good. Yeah, and then that'll just go on for like 30 seconds. I think I need to keep the same drum pattern as the first part, but just complex it up a little bit. I think I'm going to use the chord track for the chorus just to be a punk. Ugh, chord track sucks. What am I on here? I mean, I need root note, D minor, and then let's do We'll follow some of the same progression I'm already using for a second. And then I'll catch up on some comments because they're too funny. J Bognap saying what I'm going to miss since the session drummer. And that is 1000% true. That's what I'm going to miss is the drummer for sure. Do F. And then we'll just go down to a C. That's the chord progression I was using on the first part. Hate this thing. F. C. Thank you. Come on. But now, because I'm using the chord track, we're going to actually add in the session players. We'll do like a funky chorus here, which is, of course, the disco slap. Best drummer. We're going to delete that and that and that. I think we might be ruining this song. I mean, we might have already ruined it. I'm too much ranty, I think, to really do this, but we'll do the broken chords. And they're going to give me all that crap. Can't read my mind, so. Okay. Perfect. I mean, we're just going to have the perfect song here. I think we're like way too much Toe Tigris. So I gotta say, Rob was talking about Cubase. Couldn't find a vibe. I used Nuendo for a while at the studio I was at in North Carolina. And I loved their version of the arrange track, which let you have like this sidebar and you could put like your markers, what each of the arrangement sections were. And then in this little section window, you could be like, I want you to play A, B, C, B, C. Or then you could be like, I want to switch those two verses. And you do it in this like playlist area and it would change the whole song. And then you could like hit the, okay, I accept, and it would go through all of it. Stuff like that. It was so logical. The other thing that they had that I, to this day, wish everybody had. Let's see, the processing, which maybe I don't have. Maybe I need like an audio file. It's probably an audio only thing. Let's just dive into this file for 1 second, see if it works. So you have your selection-based processing. Ugh. So you could like add plugins and they would add just to this region. Well, in Cubase and Nuendo, they have this thing, the offline process list. So you could add all that stuff, and then later you could reopen it, and it's like has all the stuff still there. You can like change the order, open one of the effects and change it, and it would ripple all of the other changes. It's like this selection-based processing in Logic is like a half thought out thing that the lawyers were like, well, if you do this, you're going to be, infringing on Steinberg's intellectual property. So just do this amount and make it useless, and then nobody will ever sue us. Boom. It's not to hate Agolf, but it's certainly to like express some frustration and explain why I'm going to be exploring some other workstations this summer. I mean, that's the real point of this stream. I do have frustrations, and I'm tired of people, getting frustrated when I express them. I'm not an Apple employee. I don't care. But it has some issues, and there's not a lot of avenues we have to get those issues addressed. And like Tom says, Tom loves it. And so do I. That's why I care so much. That's why I've been spending almost 10 years making videos on this channel. It's not because I hate it. You know what I mean? It's like a family member who went off the deep end, and we care about them, so we rant about them. But we got to institute change somehow, and the only way we can do is by expressing those things. Let's see. Rob is on a roll tonight. I love it. I agree with Tom. I love it, and because I love it, I claim the right to criticize it. So that's where we're going. I'm going to stop writing this song. I'm not in the mood for songwriting, I can tell. It's like I'm grasping at thoughts because I'm riled up. Any last thoughts? Because we've been going 47 minutes, and that's about as much, I think, as I can handle. So you're going to see some new stuff on this channel. If anybody's watching this stream later, bless your hearts. We're still going to be making Logic content. It's still something I care about, but I'm going to be trying all the other workstations and making videos about them. And I'll probably say things in those videos like, man, I wish it did it like Logic did it, or this is way better than Logic. And at the end of the summer, we may be fully rebranded as a Studio One channel or a Reason channel, or we might come back to Logic and make it just a Logic channel, or it might just be something where we cover all of the workstations all the time. Seems like an insane prospect, but I think there's value in all of them. And as I always say when we do the update videos, I always update on day one so that you don't have to, so that you can see some of the things that are happening and you don't feel like you need to just like sell your soul to the devil. Anyway. I think this is a great place. Thanks everybody for being on here tonight and talking. I'm not going away except for July. I do a study abroad with students in the Czech Republic, so we'll be in Prague for a few weeks. Any of you, it's a little early for you to be awake over in Europe, but if any of you are in Europe, we could do like a meetup if we had enough interest to come over to Prague for a day. But we'll maybe talk about that a little bit later. I've tried in the past and haven't had a ton of interest. It's like vacation time, but I think what's better, the way to spend your vacation time than to go meet people and talk about cool things. So I agree with Agolf. Wow, I just understand what you're... That's interesting. Sweet. Have a good night, everybody. Ending of the stream now.